Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Conn'Cast Podcast. I am your host, Finn Tumber, as always, and first of all, we have a co-host back, Cameron Ralph, and we are joined with our very special guest that came down from London, was it?
It's Essex, but it's close
Essex. Gabe.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi.
So, I'm very appreciative that you're here, Gabe.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no, thank you. And it's all Cameron was the middleman with this.
Yeah, very
wasn't
much.
it? Without you.
That's why I'm in the middle
It's
today.
been, I want to say, like a year and a half to 2 years since I bumped into you.
I think so.
Because we'd see each other on various jobs.
Yeah.
And it'd be literally like, how are you? And I'd be, if I wasn't working with crowd, then I'd just be running around like a lunatic.
Yeah,
Be like,
yeah.
hello, I'm like, hi.
Yeah.
Bye.
Damn.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, no,
it's
It's been a minute.
it's great to have you on. And you're the first guest, actually, that I haven't met before, which is actually quite exciting.
Yeah.
I've mentioned to Cam yesterday, so that everyone else that I've kind of known, all I've known my brother, or they've just been local, but you're the first person I don't know, so I'm excited. I don't know anything
Thanks, mate.
about you other than the fact that you obviously worked in film.
I think we're from TV.
Ex-producer, and was it?
I'd
trying to get your names wrong.
I like to. I like. Well, do you want what I like to tell people, or do you want what I actually was?
Oh,
It's two very different things.
a bit of both.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's on the Hinge profile. No,
Yeah.
the official, technically a runner and ex-producer, I guess, or assistant director. But in reality, probably more of a runner and AD. Less producing stuff. If it was producing stuff, it was more passion projects of mine or people that we were in connection with.
Nice, yeah.
But enough that I could just about get away with the title.
Nice, yeah. So you just
Just
about
about
get away with it, yeah. So obviously this is a mental health podcast in a way. Should we go into how you're doing, Gabe? Really, because I don't know anything about you at all. I mean,
so I was thinking on the drive over here in general, like how do I phrase where I am now? I think the last So I don't know about you two, but I personally find that the period looking back on like the last 5 years of my life, especially starting in film, I'd say like is a solid ground for me to go to. Right, so I was 18 when I first got into film.
Yeah.
We can cover that later because that's the whole story. But I was 18 when I first got into film, and I remember like there's a progression thing about I spoke to my therapist and we were talking about the other day, and she was saying about like liking yourself is a big thing, right?
Yes.
I look back at
Hugely.
that 18-year-old and go, I think you liked yourself then, and then somewhere between the age of 18 to like 21, arguably 22, where I am now, like I fell out of love with myself, and it just wasn't. Like, it's so odd because it isn't one morning you go, I don't like me. You gradually just sort of lose part of the like.
Is it kind of like your identity of like who you think you are?
I think so. I think
like
part of it's
who you
also
are?
like for me personally. I came out of a relationship 6 months ago, which it ended not very well. Actually, no, that is so true. It was a 4.5 year relationship that ended very nicely at the end. However, I had 4 years of lovely time, so I'm very appreciative for that. And I think in those 4 years, one thing I look back on and go like, I think a lot of guys do it more than women do it. I think you give kind of so much love out that you don't necessarily give yourself any, and therefore it means that I go like, okay, you have to like yourself because otherwise this is just all rubbish. Like this is all awful.
How interesting,
You can lose yourself very quickly, can't you?
So easily,
if you're not
and
thinking
it's
about
so
yourself.
easily to be like emphatically. I know. By the way, I did think this was the drive over as well. I was like, I have to talk with a very candidness about everything, and I always have been very. Open about pretty much anything and everything. To give someone all this love and attention and time and everything, and the learning curve I've had from it, and I think just anyone should try and take from it, is you kind of need to give it to yourself as well. It's not as easy, right? Like it's so easy.
It's easy said than done.
It's so much easier said than done. Because now I go like, you ask me how I am now, like I'm actually really good. Like, I think I'm the best, which is lovely, right? I'm sorry I can't come on here and be like, I'm doing with help.
Oh, no.
I like that.
That's the I've come on now to be like, this is a cry for help, and please.
No, I want to say as well, with guests, like, it doesn't matter like where you are in your mental health journey. It's the fact that you've experienced it, and I'm so happy that you're good now.
I'm doing well.
That's
I'm doing
great.
very well, and it's a nice sort of realization of like, I'm doing well, and it's reinvesting time into yourself that you didn't do beforehand. And I don't think it's minorly going like, I don't think I could have done it in the time. I don't look back and go, oh, you should have done it then. Can't be asked, and that's too much hassle to think about.
It's in the past, isn't it?
It's done. Like it's so done that like, let's just move onwards and go with whatever we're going with. So I'm doing very well. I'm kind of obsessed at the moment with finding best version of me
Yes,
kind of where we're at.
Self-improvement.
It's like I am such an asshole for now being like how good can I get? It's like you already think a lot of yourself, mate. Like I'm so grateful I have the right people around me who like sometimes and then sometimes we'll be like, mate, you've done amazingly well. Like we're proud of how far you've come in 3 months. Where you were like a friend of mine, we were laughing about the other day, and he was like, you're now at a stage where you're really fun drunk. I went, when wasn't I fun drunk? And he was like, you always were. There were just like hints of like, oh, I miss her. And he'd be like, oh, for God's sake, I can't be asked to deal with this man again. He was like, so it's really nice to now be like, do you know what? You're actually just happy to be here. And I was like, yeah, man, that's it.
So I know you're in full flow, sorry. But when the breakup happened, what was it that gave you like,
I've got to
get you out of the...
I've given a lot of credit to my love for football in my life. I've given a lot of credit to that in general.
I've heard from Cam.
I've given a lot of love to it in general. And a lot of I lived in Reading for 2 years with my ex, and she was at uni there. I just lived there, and the social group that I helped build from what started as like a friendship group we had, which centered around 4 boys who were in a band who are friends of mine. Who will the stretch? I'm not going to jokingly. We joked before about how me hating the shout out thing, but everyone should give them a listen. They're very good. But, there you go. But the boys, basically, we started a football team for a 5-a-side league, I was at such a low point mental health wise at that point in my life. That I said since, and I've said in therapy, I've said to the boys themselves, I've said like we basically built a society out of nothing in Reading, which is really funny because it started as like 10 boys who wanted to play football, and it became 40 of us, and it was just great, and the group was ridiculous. We did like an awards night at the end of the season where everyone was in suit and tie. It was a whole thing. It was really like letting a kid, a kid who has like a producer mindset go, how ridiculous can you take this?
How can we build
it was so fun.
Oh my God, what
it was good fun. And we had 2 teams because there were too many people, so it became like this little fun inter-club rivery, but then also like we hated everyone else more than us. It was great.
It's like Inter Milan.
It literally like Inter AC, and it was so funny. And we'd go like we'd rent a pitch like 3 times a week and just play for like 2 hours. So we'd end up doing by like Sunday, which is game day, we'd play Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we'd play Sunday, and in the week we're all going out, nights out as a group anyway. I just spent all my time with them, and the thing I always credit them to is at the time I was doing so badly that I give credit to a lot of people, and like we said about the breakup thing, like I give credit to her as well because she was amazing throughout. But I give credit to those 30, 40 blokes saved my life thoroughly. Wow. Because like the group that built around me and I'm competitive as hell, and I'm also I'm not.
It's good to have.
But it meant that I had that like thing kept me ticking. So talk about what got me out of the funk is I started playing football again.
That was mainly it.
That was it.
Bang, straight into it.
Competitive and old. And the thing about men like get in the gym after a breakup, it's not true. It doesn't help entirely.
No.
But I had an excuse to do it because I was like, I want to be better at this.
The self-improvement aspect of it.
Exactly. And
doing it for yourself.
Yeah, that's
good.
There's 2 like really important things that you said there in terms of like helping. It's friends and activity, especially activity that you love as well. Those 2 combined
and
together.
The right friends for the right time. I look now and go, now, me being the way I am currently, I don't think that group in Reading fits as well.
Interesting.
Because I needed them then, and I still need them now. I love the boys, absolutely love them all. But the group, the 5 to 10 people I've got around me now more so are the ones that I'm like, cool, this is what I need now. That's what I needed then. And the love and time's always there, but it's different people for different
1,000,000%
times in your life, right?
Unbelievable.
Makes sense.
And, and that just kind of got you going after it, because obviously, like you say, 4.5 years is a long time.
It's a long time, man. It's a long time.
And to lose yourself and like your identity almost. That's kind of what, if I put myself in those shoes, that's kind of how I would have felt. And that's amazing that you managed to pull yourself out.
There's a funny thing about like...
It's so good.
Yeah, there's a funny thing about like making your relationship, your personality is such a dangerous game, man. And I know way too many people who have sadly done that.
Yeah, you lose a lot of brothers to it.
Everyone's got like at least 2 people in their head now where you're like, yeah, it used to be fun. And that's how I don't look at it and go like, oh, I did that. But I look at it and go like, I joked to a friend of mine the other day that like, I think the person, like I look around now at me, and there's a friend of mine who had a really similar situation happen a few years beforehand. And he jokingly at the time said to me like, watch out. And I was like, don't be ridiculous. Here we are. I'm not saying it's happening to everyone. I'm just saying that annoyingly he called it. But he now is like, he's just about to move into his first flat. He's bought it outright. He's done amazing things in like 4 or 5 years. Like he's done unbelievably
That's
well.
good.
Yeah. And I said to him the other day, I was like, look how far we've come when there were not no other distractions. That's a really nice way to put it. But like when it was all like, actually, I'm just going to make me as good as I can.
Yeah.
Look how far you've come in like
100%.
No space of time.
100%.
It's just
crazy.
it's mental. And so for me, I felt like that's the thing now of like we lost a lot, like you say, about people making their whole life their relationship their identity, but you become such a better version of yourself when you have to, because you go, I've got to do something. It's just
100%. And you got a lot. I don't know what relationships like, but you might have a lot more free time as well.
Absolutely.
Out of it.
And I don't know about you. I hate my own company. I used to hate my own company.
Interesting.
I used to hate it. So it was a real issue because all of a sudden it was just me.
Yeah.
And that's all the mental health comes crashing down because you go, oh, I've got no one to, like, this is awful. Like, exactly. And then now I had to learn to basically because before I was in a relationship, I used to go to the cinema by myself. I'd take myself to dinner. I was 16. I would go do all these things by myself, and I didn't really care. Now when I finished a relationship, I'd go, no, I don't want to do it by myself. Like, why would I want to do anything by myself? What do you mean? So then things like training football, like football training 1-on-1, or just one. There's no 1-on-1. It was just me. Like literally, it's just one. Yeah, like that. Was all of a sudden like a little thing where I was like, I can do this by myself. This is fine. Golf became a thing because I was like, I don't look like a weirdo playing golf by myself, so it's fine. Like,
so therapeutic about it.
Exactly.
As well.
And I don't know you, but there's so many voices up here. I have to have like headphones in or something.
Something going. Just something going.
Has to be, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so like, I'll be the guy that will go sit in a coffee shop and have like a cup of coffee and cake or whatever with headphones in and just watch them.
So nice though.
Yeah.
Like
now I can do that. Now and it's
that's
lovely.
So interesting to hear that. Like, that's such a good point. So what you said about obviously like having your own company. So many men as well don't like that. No. I don't know about women, but especially men. Yeah. It's a really big issue.
I think women really like it. I think most women I know love their own company. I think most men I know don't like quiet, or if they do, they go, yeah, this is good, but it'd be better if my mates were here. And I'm still there, I'll be entirely honest, and I'm very much still there, but it's there are moments where I'm like, actually, this is really pleasant. This is really nice. I can do this fine.
That's interesting.
But yeah, and that was a real weird moment of like, oh God, learn to like yourself again and learn to be able to do that. Do things by yourself, basically, was my like big like, come on.
So good, So with the breakup stuff, and obviously you really touched on mental health, but men's mental health. Right. I think you mentioned to me before we came on that you really wanted to speak about. Yeah. And would you say that differs with other people, like, or is it just men in themselves? Would you say like?
I think men in breakup circumstances.
Say breakups is a big one. To mention in
I think
sense.
it is. Yeah, I think there's less. I think there's less of a roadmap. I think there's a weird little stigma about like I don't know anyone who did this and it worked. So I hated the idea of like end of relationship, go sleep around, you'll be fine. Bury everything else.
Get on top.
Bury everything else. You'll be fine. By the way, it doesn't work. Doesn't work. Just doesn't work. I can speak from experience. Does not work.
Been there, done that, got the ticket.
That one doesn't work. All right. Again, I know you're watching. Doesn't work. That's gonna come up to bite me so hard. Keep it in. No, keep it in. Absolutely keep it in. Yeah, nothing gets cut out. I like that. It doesn't work. And also like the male thing. I don't know about you two, but I think the male thing that is instilled for us from when we're kids. I don't know how I don't know how to change it either. I'm not that intelligent on it, but it's like, bury it.
Man up.
Cool, bury it.
Or man up.
Or just like...
This is awful.
It's life. Come on, let's go again. And I agree with parts of it. And I agree that keep pushing is a really good way of dealing with it, but also there comes a point where it's like, deal with it. Like, the problem's not going to go away, so deal with it.
I agree with that completely. Like, so there's two aspects.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. But it's the manning up. It's a phrase, manning up. Maybe dealing with it and pushing on, going forward. But manning up, I hate man up.
It's such a big thing that's still around.
Massively,
like, I don't think that will ever go, unfortunately, because there's certain people that are
very big pushers. I think it's a generational thing, and I also think that like our generation's got a very nice outlook of it. It's better now. Like you can talk about it. That's an improvement. That's a massive improvement. And I remember like being like 15 and having mental health issues. I was not even ridiculous. I look back and go, that was so minor. But also at the same time, it felt like the world was crashing down, and therefore everything felt. And I give credit to my parents who were able to kind of be like, I never felt like it was not valid, and that's I credit that to them because I have plenty of people around me who their parents are like, "What do you mean you're sad? Just be happy." And it's like that's not how this works.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, like that's not how this works.
Just be happy.
And a friend of mine said to me a long time ago that she was like, her mum just doesn't get it. Like, what do you mean you're not like? come on, like just do something you like. She's like, no, that's the point. Is the joy of things don't feel as good anymore. And that again, I was lucky that I have family around me who were lovely and understanding when the breakup happened, that they could be like, yeah, you're going to have to feel this for a while.
Yeah.
And you'll
That's
be
a
fine.
really good point. Feeling it, embracing it, just like, instead of pushing it to the back of your mind.
Grit your teeth and sit in it. A friend of mine, like, I'm not very good at sitting still, as any viewer can witness right now. But like,
Liz included.
a friend of mine would be like, you, like, stop trying again, that thing of like, stop trying to run around with whoever, but like
100%.
just feel whatever you're feeling for a while now, and when
Sit
you're
with it.
ready to be alright, you're ready to be alright. And I'm happy to say that the last month has been a really nice change of pace of going like, oh, actually I'm good, I'm alright, I'm actually getting a handle on stuff, which is lovely. I joked the other day about it, and I think it's actually the truest part is like, I feel the best now physically, mentally, and everything else that I have done in the last I want to say 5-6 years, which is amazing. It's great, right?
Yeah, that's really good.
Thank you. And the ironic part of it all, I think, is I feel so much more attractive to every person because I am now that version of me. Yes. Especially, it's ironic when I go, like, you break up for whatever reason, you go apart, you fall apart, whatever the fuck.
True.
But, like, I almost go, I am what you would have wanted me to be in when we were in this now, and it's not a shame that it just meant, oh, this had to happen, otherwise I was never going to do this.
Exactly that.
And that's the different mindset switch.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Come to that realization.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing is as well, I always say, like, I don't regret anything in my life personally, because it's brought me to where I am today.
Absolutely.
And all of those bad experiences have made you who you are, and you've grown from that.
Yeah. I've also had a really nice, like, realization of, like, I enjoy being funny. I don't think there's a better clip that I enjoy than making someone laugh. So for me, I go, there are things where I don't regret, but I go, oh, you could have done that so well. But I also go, oh, do you know what? It's brought you where you are, and it's also funny. I did stuff yesterday that I was like, that was dumb. I actually probably shouldn't have done that. That's actually probably really hindered some things in my life. But it's funny. It's a good story, and we'll get to plenty of them in a minute. It's very funny. It's a good story, and the joke has now become that, like, Gabe does everything for the plot, because like how can I make this a really good story? I went through a little moment of writing, like, mini stand-up stories.
Oh, okay.
Right? That was a really big thing for me. It was like, how can I turn this awful trauma at the time into, like, funny things? I'll give you a little one, which is great, right? It's good fun, right? And it's also such an attention seeker's mindset of, like, how can I drain this for everything in it?
It's
like,
good attention seeking.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
it's
I do bad attention seeking as well. I have both capabilities.
I love attention. Give it.
Yeah, the more the better. Please. So like one of them I did, and I know this is this is a very stupid story. For like 4 months after the breakup, I had a Tesco club card on my keys.
Right.
And it's her club card. But I was so lazy, and I couldn't be asked to make my own account. I just kept using it. For like 4 months afterwards. And I was going, like, I'm getting Tesco, like, petrol and everything else. And And a friend of mine was like, what are you doing? You're giving her all these points.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Sorry, I'm you're not
and
taking
I was like,
it.
Yeah, but like, I am actually. And it took one pub guard where I was like, yeah, I am. Do you know what? I'm going to go on the app. I reckon I've still got the login. I'm going to steal all the points.
Yeah.
And I went on the app, and they'd been withdrawn weekly. And I went, this hurts more than the breakup. I was like, this is so dumb of me. Like, I've given you all this. But the irony that I was about to be like, haha, she's never going to see this coming. And then she was like, I've watched you idiots do this for like months. I've watched you spend your money and give me points off. I now would like to add, on that day, in fact, 5 years later, I had my own club card created. Because I was like, I can't keep doing this. So yeah, my sly moment of like...
Oh, God. Cam loves a club card as well. Yeah.
Oh, I love a club card.
Every day he's at the Costa machine at Tesco.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh my God. Are you getting a Costa machine from there?
I know.
But you can get
dodgy behaviour, isn't it?
You can get the Costa in the meal deal.
Yeah. But do you like go like, oh, I'll have a latte, and then go up to I've done it before. I've been like latte, and then go up to the guy and been like a cappuccino.
Oh no, I've not done that. Wait, is that cheaper?
I'm a thief, is what I'm doing. yeah.
Oh, you say you're getting one drink,
cut it.
The other. that pot. Tesco. The rest of it can basically, I little moments like that where I was like, this is so dumb, and I would write that into little bits about it. There's one I am going to have to wait till I leave the job I'm currently at before I tell the story.
Oh, actually do it?
Yeah.
No way.
It's not anything bad. I just go like, I can't be asked to have that conversation.
Protect yourself.
One thing about that, which I found really interesting about what you said about channeling, is what you said in
absolutely
Were you thinking the same thing?
That
you turned something that was like quite a bad experience for you into like something that you love, and that's such.
Look at what you two have done.
Yeah,
it's
we've
literally.
It's
the same thing.
It's actually with my brother. You know, it was a really sad thing that happened that I've kind of we've and you've us three, the trio, have really helped with. So it's great,
and it does. It gives you a gateway to, like, my dad used to always talk about how like creativity comes from pain in some aspect. Always, right? Like always does. Like there's a great. 100%. I think it's Jim Carrey who talks about it. Who talks about like comedians often have. I think it's Jimmy Carr who says it originally. Like comedians always have depressed parents. Because the cure to them as a kid, the cure they saw to everything was making everyone laugh. So it always is elaborated that like if I just have everyone laughing, no one can be sad. And therefore everything's fine. And that's a really interesting look at it, right? Like, that's kind of like, there's 4 or 5 stand-up bits that are written that are like, one day I'll do them. I don't have the courage or ego yet to go, I'm going to do that. I've said yet specifically.
Because you will.
Probably.
We'll keep it
2 weeks. No. And like
2 hours.
Yeah. So go after this. I've got a gig. Like that, like I will do one day, and they're very funny bits and very funny stories. But like, I've taken, there's plenty from film as well, but I've taken so many nice little moments. Like that Club Card one's so funny to me.
That's so good.
I was, in the space of 2 minutes, I went from like, watch this is going to drive her nuts, to being like, it felt worse than receiving those messages. Being like, it felt worse. Being like, oh, you idiot, like, you idiot. Like, she already, I think my quote of the day was like, the heart's already shattered. This hurts more. Like, what?
Suffering from your own
give me
actions.
Give Club Card points back. Like, that was it, right? Even though it's like, brother, if you just made your own account, like a normal... By the way, I looked into it. I go like, probably I'd say like... Because we split up for a little bit and then got back together and try again because we were stupid. No, it's so not true. Actually, no, it so is true, but also that's what love does. And I remember when we split up the first time, her being like, you need to get your own club card. And I was like, nah, I can't be asked. I should have just done it. She literally went, I'm going to steal those points.
She's basically robbing you.
Right.
She's basically robbing you.
Yeah, which is ironic because I just joked about robbing from Tesco. Yeah. Touché. Well played. Fair enough. Yeah.
With men's mental health as well, going back as well.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about that is, it's interesting to say about men's mental health because I wonder what support's like with other men because it's hard to talk with men. And like, I know you said you played football, didn't you? But were they supportive with the breakup, or was it more that you just played football?
No,
it's interesting, isn't it?
I've met my best friend has come through football, and we only met. I'm going to annoy a lot of people by calling him my best mate, but he's been around the most as of the last 6 months, so I'm going to say my best mate. We only met 3-4 months ago, and we see he's more of a. I joke like he's more of a boyfriend now, but he's got he's got a much better right foot than she ever did when it came to playing ball. So it's not a problem. He pings a better ball way better than she ever could. No, he's lovely and bless his heart. But I was lucky enough that the people around me were very, and especially the boys from football were very caring in the sense that it wasn't just football. Like I could always talk about anything,
and they were like,
friends changed. Like the two mates of mine that actually were friends of hers originally that I kind of grew close to after the breakup. Went from being mates I would go to the pub and watch football with, and that was it, to being like I went to the pub one day, like this was weeks afterwards, and I went to the pub one day with them both, and I found out a week or two before that she was seeing someone else, and as it does, it just like flatline kills you, and it was very early on afterwards, and I think it was a couple of weeks after that I found out.
Not as bad as the club card.
No, it wasn't quite the same pain as the club card. Yeah. There's levels to this. But I was sat at the pub, and so I recently found that out. And obviously, as I was at like not a lull, but I was low.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at the pub with them both. And the day went from us watching football at the pub, and that was lovely. That's comfort. That's fine. To sitting at another pub after the football and having a basically 3-way therapy conversation. Where like I'd opened up how I felt, and then the two of them had done the same thing. And they're two blokes that I like have a lot of love and admiration for, but also like we'd never really chatted like that before. And I was mental. Like, oh, okay, this is lovely. Like that's not only cool to know they're there like that, but mainly cool because it's like, okay, like the world is changing. Men's opinion on this is changing.
Oh, yeah.
That's so refreshing.
Yeah. I'm sitting here having met you 45 minutes ago.
Literally.
I've met you, I'm going to say 12 times at max.
But
like, we saw each other daily, but like, in terms
2
of
years ago almost.
Right, exactly, yeah. To like go,
Crazy.
here's how I feel, and not feel any sort of way about it. And that is partially because I'm capable of doing such, because I'm very expert.
It's good that
but it's
like
changing,
that.
right? That's the world changing. So for me, to answer your question, I had the right friends around me. And they were lovely and supportive of it.
One thing with those two friends as well, I'm saying that something I said in a different episode, one with you actually a few weeks ago, about how like if they don't know you very well, it's so much easier to open up.
Oh,
they can't judge you.
Yeah.
They don't know you.
Judgment, but there's no
not even judgment. Yeah,
there's like I can make
slate.
I can kind of go like, this is why this is this, and I see this because of this, and there's no biased opinion. Like I can't believe the amount of times that friends. Not friend, right, for the right reason. I also expect that if my friend knows me very well, they can go, yeah, that's wrong. Like, that's being friends, in my opinion. Is like, a big reason I struggled with stuff at the end is that I felt that no one kept her to the same level that I would want to be kept to as a friend. Yes. If I messed up in certain ways, and God knows I have, I'm not an innocent child and no one is.
Oh,
100%. But I have friends around me who would pull me up and be like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I also have plenty of Italian family members who would be like, smack, what are you doing? Like, that's just kind of it.
Yeah.
And that's being a friend to me in some way. And that you should be supportive. And I think that's part of mental health as well, is being able to be like, I'm supportive, but I'll drag you down to earth if you need it. 100%. And like we spoke earlier about like, I feel 100%. Fantastic. I like Ben, who's the friend of mine I mentioned, who recently stepped into my life. Ben will big me up when I need it, and Ben will also be like, "Shut up! Like you are not God's gift to the world. Like behave yourself."
Just to humble you a little bit.
Yeah,
as well.
and rightfully so. Like there are days where I need that as well, and that's really nice to have.
It's surrounding yourself with people that aren't yes men.
Oh, it's so difficult.
It's hard. It's natural that people want to just be like nice to you, but sometimes you need someone to just go like, yeah.
And there are people that I know that I don't think I'm a yes man for, but I think I can't be bothered to hold you to accountability for it. And there are other people where I go, yeah, I'll hold you to accountability for this. And that's me 100%. Being like a yes man to some people. And that's kind of the way that,
I'm so happy that you had those two friends, because what I was going to talk about is like with men's mental health especially, I feel like when women have a breakup, they're all their friends like, oh my god, no, what do you do? And then they're like on them, not vultures.
There's herd mentality with women. There's very herd mentality.
And with men, it's like I didn't think you were going to say that you had people that actually talked to you about how you felt. I thought you were going to turn around to me and say, oh, like we just played football, and that helped. But they actually asked you.
And I think I wouldn't be doing anywhere near as well without it. And I think.
Break stigma.
I think there's and I don't look. It's not me coming for anyone in any way, but I think with women there's a very interesting dynamic of like, it's an aggressive response 9 times out of 10. I think for her and her collective, if you will, it's often like a get back at sort of situation, whether it be in your actions, whatever. But I think mainly more it's a fight or flight, and I think men in breakups often choose the flight, where they're kind of like, I don't really know what the hell all these emotions are, so I'm just going to run away and do whatever the hell I can do, and whatever, And I think women often go to the other side of it. I don't know why, but I think that's kind of the...
They say women... I mean, this might be really wrong. Like,
just as three men talking on a podcast. Let's talk about women.
We know about women. We don't know them at all. At all.
I know nothing. I know absolutely... As is evident, single, I know nothing.
He's got a girlfriend, so he's...
He knows more than us.
He still doesn't. No. But what I was going to say...
I make mistakes. What I
want to say is, like they say with breakups, it's always the thing that women get over it really quickly. They embrace the emotions quick. Men sometimes, like you said, sometimes push it away, and it lingers for a long time. And I'm so happy to hear that 6 months later you're in a such better position.
Yeah, and I think there's a podcast I listened to where a bloke spoke about, I can't remember what religion it is, but there's a theory that, because it's grieving, all breakups are grieving afterwards. That's what it is. You're grieving that person leaving your life, or that relationship dying, whatever. That bridge burning, however you put it.
Yeah.
And he spoke about in a certain religion, I can't remember which one, where you're allowed like a year. The idea is like it's like a year to grieve, where your actions in that year can be anything, and your family and people around you shouldn't hold you accountable basically for them within reason. You can't be like, I murdered 13 people, and they'll be like, he's grieving.
He's grieving.
He's grieving. Yeah. He's got a year. 365 days. After that, no murdering. Like that's not how it works. But like that's that idea of like you've got a year to just understand where you're at is a really nice way of doing it. And I'm lucky that it's not been a year, because I think a year would be, I'd be like, this has been a month, but I also know that in a year's time my outlook on everything will be different.
Oh, 100%.
And that's really nice to know.
It's what we said before you started. Like, if I got you on a year later,
this would be a holding podcast,
or 6 months ago,
it would be awful. It'd be awful. You need tissues. We need a lot of tissues, and there'd be a lot of tissues and a lot of like just moments where I'd be like, I don't know what to reply to any of these questions. And that's the difference. Is like
that's so interesting.
Time heals all is a really good quote for it.
Yeah,
but time and effort heals all.
Yeah,
that's it.
Was there anything else on like men's mental health, or just in general you want to talk about?
Yeah. For me especially, what helped was I put a routine in place, which made a big difference. Routine in place, the right people around
that's
you.
That's huge.
Yeah, and mainly, and from the last one, they're like, man, just please talk. More men, please talk. Just talk. Like everyone, you have boys, girls, whoever, family. You have someone around you who cares enough to listen. So talk. There's a lovely Paddy the Paddy quote when he's in the ring after a fight, which is the one where he's like, "I'd rather answer the phone call at 3 a.m. than go to your funeral," and that's so true. Like, I would rather that 9 times out of 10. There are certain people I'd go, please don't call me, call someone else, because we're not close enough to have this conversation. But I would still go, I'll answer the phone. I might fall asleep because it's 4 a.m.
Yeah,
but please just go. Like, we can do it's fine. And a friend of mine rang me the other month, and we haven't spoken in a good long while. And he rang me to talk about stuff happening in his life. And I just listened, 20-minute phone call, chatting about with him. Yeah. I texted him yesterday, like, how's it going? He's like, yeah, it's actually all calmed down, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, great, cool. Well, I won't talk to him for another 6 months probably, because we're just running around doing our own lives.
Yeah.
But he knew that he could call, and I think that's the thing for me is like, please just, man, just.
That's really important.
Short term, not even short term pain for long term gain. What I mean by that is, it's like it's a short term. You're going to call them at 4 a.m. and they're going to call you, and they're going to still be with you tomorrow. Yeah, and that's so important for me. Massively. I'll drop everything if it means someone can be there tomorrow.
I think on this topic as well, I was going to say earlier, you said about being surprised at like who you could talk to, stuff like that. I think with people, it's good to always like try and talk to somebody, because even if you think they're a really closed book, they can really surprise you. And if you do open that doorway to them, it can it might take a bit of time, but someone can open up very quickly. And then they're comfortable.
And I think that the boys in general, the answer is not at the bottom of the bottle, and it's definitely not in the bottom of the bag either. And just like, understand that you are going to feel it for a while. You can distract yourself. If you want to play that game, you can distract yourself. But you'll rinse your bank account and you'll rinse your friends. And your better way of dealing with it is like, you're going to have to face it eventually, so come on, get with it. And I know 100%. Too many people, especially breakup-wise, who have 100%. Had it, done it, never really dealt with it, and still hung up on that person. And more than anything else, if you're hung up on someone else, stop dating other people. Just please, for the love of God,
100%.
Stop it. The amount of couples where I'm like, you are not okay to be having this. And again, that thing of having friends, I'll pull up a friend and be like, mate, no,
it's not working.
And you know why they do that as well? It's validation.
Absolutely,
they feel like they need to be with someone to make themselves happy. They need to be validated.
Absolutely, And it leans back to the thing I was mentioning about trying to be comfortable being by myself and be like, I am actually all right.
They're okay.
I am fine. Like, I don't need X, Y, and Z around me. I've got 5 people here I can contact, and everyone else can just be there.
Exactly. Sure. It's like creating like your life, and like you're not trying to fill a hole with someone else. You're complete. You're happy with yourself, and then you bring someone else into your life that complements your life. It doesn't fill a hole.
It doesn't fill a hole. Exactly. And that's
100%.
That's the trick, is being those wounds heal.
Yes.
Stop trying to stick plasters over a broken arm.
100%.
Would you agree as well? I was going to say about like when you have emotions, you need to let yourself feel them as well. You can't block them. There's a horrible like
sit with it, feel it.
There's a horrible stigma. I think I heard the phrase the other day, like crying shows weakness.
It's so tough. It's also like the amount of times I've broken down in some horrendous situations where I've been like, stop sobbing. You're in Tesco's. Oh, I don't know why I keep mentioning Tesco's. But stop stop crying. You're not in a scenario that it is applicable to crying. And I've been like, oh, actually, who cares? Like, what are you like? And
who cares?
Yeah, I can look at the cashier, and the cashier's going to go, "You all right?" And I go, "No. Do I look like I'm all right? No, I'm not. Right.
I'm a mess.
Can I just pay and leave, please? Like, that's fine." And also, like, that's applicable. And there's a funny moment where I realised of like, none of these people. It's the same, by the way. The same thing. I think it's the same vein I put in. Like, if you ever ask for anyone's number and get told no, it's like 9 times out of 10 you ain't gonna see that person again. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, why do you care how you're perceived by that person?
Literally that.
And being, I think you have to feel it. I think that's the answer.
Such a good point. It's like, I want to say, like, men, it is okay to cry.
Absolutely,
It is 100%. And like, I've had a few times before where like, sometimes I'll went up a little bit at the tournaments. And like, I think it was last New Year's, I was just feeling a bit like low. I was missing Connor and stuff. And like, I felt awkward crying because I feel like people don't know how to react to it as well.
Makes people uncomfortable.
Which I do understand, and you can't change that. But at the same time, it should be okay to cry.
Absolutely,
it's good to. And
I'm a Italian half. I know. I get comments. Quarter Italian man, raised
Really?
very, very Italian family wise.
Wow.
Yeah, but I am emotional through the roof 9 times out of 10. Head loss is a real issue when it comes to sport.
Yeah.
But also we spoke about that Reading team in Reading when we won the final. I cried. And it's a 5-a-side final at a university. But by the way, but it was the fact that it, like I mentioned, those boys had saved my life. I'd put so much time and effort into it, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, this is you did it." That killed me. I joke about it often enough, but
getting goosebumps.
There are enough times. Yeah. Sorry, there are enough times where sport's always the one because I put so much into it, where physically, emotionally, everything else, and like I said, football has saved me so many times. That's the one true love. Is truth be told, and so for me, I go that's the escape where when it's all done. And you've put blood, sweat, tears, everything into it. The only thing that's left is the emotion of oh, you did it. You did it. I'll link it to film now because that's a good.
Well, I was going to say we probably will start going.
Little segue. So one of the last jobs I ever did in film before I stepped away was I produced Will and E's second channel. I did 3 or 4 videos.
Do you know Will and E?
His producer Abby had me in quite a lot towards the and they're amazing, man.
That's really cool.
Lovely people. And
that's really cool.
So good, and I think Will's level of videos are the best in the UK now.
I do love his videos. Actually.
I haven't watched them enough. Yeah,
watching what they do and watching how they work, and Abby and Orla, who are his kind of production team, and Yayan's an incredible videographer, and they're all very good friends.
Nice.
They're just incredible.
That's a cool little story.
Yeah, and but I remember being on the train home. So they all went away to prep for their shoot in Peru. And it was left with me and Will and another videographer in the office, and I had the task of cool, you've got 4 second channel videos that it's kind of all done for you. Just make sure it runs smoothly on the day, produce it on the day you would. And I did it, and Will was really happy and texted all up in can you thank Gabe? Just smashed it, did really well. And I remember sitting on the train home, and I was I was sobbing on the train home, and it was because I had the moment of going. I did the same thing when I first got in film as well. The moment of going. The 13-year-old that watched BG Media Will and E videos is dying inside. You look how far you've come. Where you are. I think the shoot I did was the first day was with Freezy, Will, and then Chip came in and did a video as well. Wow. And I was
Chip,
but
obviously the YouTuber Chip.
Yeah, not a Chip.
I was like, what?
And I kind of had the realization of look how far you've come. That's now you're in that. World
you're in
that's
you've worked yourself into that
world, right? And that was
awesome,
amazing, but it just I remember sitting on the train home sobbing and being so proud of myself. And I talk about that. Look, that's where we're at now, where I'm doing better, where I kind of able to go, oh wow, I've come a long way. I started journaling on that note a while ago. I can't I can't do it every other day, and I can't do it on an any time basis. I just do it whenever I fancy it.
Because I've been so interested in journaling as well, but I don't know how to. Do you want to talk about it quickly? Because I'm interested.
I can't write as fast as my brain goes, and that really annoys me. But I enjoy getting certain thoughts out of my brain, sort of just scribbling. Yeah. I also really I don't like it looking awful. When my writing looks half the time it looks like a poet, half the time it looks like a tramp, and there's just no in between. But from doing that, I'm able to look back at thoughts of 3 months ago,
and you go back, you're
that's so funny that I looked at it that way, and I looked at it that way, and I missed this, and I wanted that, and I wanted this, and I wanted that. And now to go, oh yeah, now you see things this way. We spoke about that all the whole time. Just that was a really amazing point, and I think. Yeah, I remember when I started working with Will and stuff, it was a hard hitting moment of oh, you're doing well, you're doing right. And that's, by the way, for all men in all walks of life, you've done well wherever you're at.
Oh, exactly.
Because you're still here and you're still doing it. And that's enough, actually, that you're doing well.
Exactly. Perfect and point. It's just so beautiful that I didn't know you worked with YouTubers. This is what I don't know.
Will's the only one I worked with. I did
That's cool.
I went to Utah for 4 days. Not with Will. That was with a phone company, a tech company this year, which was my last producing stint.
Right.
And then I stepped away. I stepped away because it just was so tough. That industry's on fire. It's been on fire since COVID. It's just a bin fire of an industry. There's not enough work because there's so many people. there's not enough jobs, there's not enough consistent work because of COVID and then strikes and then everything else and everyone just and I kind of had a moment of like, oh, I need to improve my mental health in my life. I need to earn properly, not be terrified of getting no work. I mean, the last job we worked on together was like a mess for like the production side of things. I'll name it. I don't care enough. So if you don't want me to name it, I won't name it.
Just in case.
It was tough. It was tough work. It was tough. It was really, really tough. And I remember like that being like, oh, okay, I think I need to get away from this. And I said to these boys when I got here, like, I miss this. I missed this whole aspect of doing this, and I did this for so long. This is so lovely.
It's cool little side hustle.
It's great, and even like it was just so much. It's so much fun.
It's so cool.
I made a thing, and then being like, cool. I'm knackered. I've actually been battered emotionally and physically, and I've spent too many hours in that room. But I made a thing, and that's kind of cool.
Spot on.
I think that an important thing I was going to say as well was that even if you do step away from something, you can always.
I'll go back. I will so end up back in it.
You really said that to yourself.
I'll so end up back in it. I won't end up back in it anytime soon. I don't think, because I think I look now and go, oh yeah, being paid's really nice. So maybe I'll go back another time. But like I think I'll go back because I think I can't.
The paycheck's good.
I can't forever resist the urge of doing stuff.
It's so cool, dude.
Like that. That really is still there, and I love I spoke earlier about trying to be the better version of, or finding a better version of me. The better version of me is somewhere in between this person and the creative stuff. If I can figure out a way, basically, to do creative stuff and go to the gym and play football alongside and make money, I've won. If I do those 4 things...
all in 24 hours.
I'll be happy. And notice how the no relationship mention comes into that 4 category, right? Which is interesting. But that's not in my head. I just go like, oh yeah, cool, whatever.
If it comes, it comes.
If it comes, it comes.
Exactly that.
But I started my film journey was a weird one. So my dad's a musician. My auntie is in hair and makeup and a wig mistress. She's one of the best in the world. She's absolutely outstanding. And she's worked on massive things. And I remember I've been spoilt for experiences as a kid of like. What did I do? Like my auntie worked in plays and theatre, a load of theatre.
Oh wow!
So I would go up and see her all the time, and the list of names she's worked with is ridiculous. It's absurd, and she's so not fussed about it, which is so funny. Like 3 months, a couple months ago, she was like, "Oh, I'm going to Ireland for a day to do this shoot, whatever."
And you're like, "Sure."
And I went, "Oh, who with?" And she went, "Oh, Jenna Ortega." And I went, "Oh." All right.
Oh yeah, no.
That's what I mean. Like, she's just not bothered. She didn't know who she was. She's like, I don't know who this person is. I was like, all right. She's so funny because Jenna Ortega's like, I think a year or 2 older than me.
That's
she was
crazy.
Like, my auntie goes to like, she went. I told her I have a nephew about her age, and I went, what were you hoping to happen? And she was like, I don't know. She's cute. She'll give you a ring. I was like, that's not. I was like, I don't think Jenna Ortega's going like. But I love the fact that my auntie's just so like,
just so cash about it.
You're attractive. He's kind of attractive. That'll work. Like that's how she sees it, which is so funny to me.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Hey, I shoot, as I like to say. Shoot, and I will keep shooting.
Big up to her for
it becomes intolerable at times. There are times where I'll be like, Auntie, leave it. It's fine. It's fine. And there are other times where I'm like, why have you not asked that one? Like,
that's crazy.
That one. Give that one my number. No. But yeah, so that's my auntie. That was my world growing up. Was like she was always. I didn't see very much of her. We're very close.
That's probably why you went into the sort of film.
Well, I was always destined for it, but it's not how I got. How I got in was I in lockdown. I went up with a friend of mine, Jimmy. Me and Jimmy always worked together, always shot stuff together, always made stuff together. And we knew that London was dead empty because everyone was only supposed to travel for work. And we went, no. So we got a train to London, which is only like 15 minutes, to do photos. And the photos, by the way, turned out great. I mean, I look horrendous in them. I'm like 15, 16. No, I'm not. I'm 18 at the time. But I look like, now I look back and go like, those jeans are so skinny. Like, what are you doing? When jeans used to be really skinny?
Yeah.
That's a crazy period of time, isn't it? Sorry.
I
get so tired. Yeah.
A crazy time, wasn't it?
Choices.
Yeah.
A
little shiver.
I grew up in Essex. What do you think I feel about it?
Oh, God, literally Essex.
No, horrendous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went up to do photos, and we knew that Atlanta, Donald Glover's show, was shooting in London at the time. We knew that was happening. Didn't know where it was, just knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And we walked from Liverpool Street Station to St George's Park, and we get to St George's Park, and I will remember it for the rest of my life. I look to my right, and there's a row of trailers, and Jimmy and me go, "There's trailers there. Like that might be a set." I walk past the first one, and it's got Donald Glover's character name written on the door. And me and Jimmy, and it's like, it's on the side of the road, like anyone can, there was security and everything, but they were all lovely.
Yeah.
And me and Jimmy are like, oh my God. Like, okay, right. don't move. Like, we're not going anywhere now. This is where we're staying now. And I wanted to get into film at this point. I hadn't met anyone. I don't like going through the channel of like, auntie, get me a job. And also, my auntie was very much like, no, you'll get a job when you get a job. I'm not handing you. I'll give you. She'd always give me a leg up, but she was always like, I'm never getting you a job and then just continue. That's not how this works.
It's good for yourself.
And there is so much nepotism in that industry. So it's not. There are way too many actors who I can name who have got jobs because of your parents and not because of you.
Yes.
But like, I joke about it, and that's why I was always like, fair enough. So I stood outside that film set with Jimmy for 7 hours, and I met all the cast, all the crew, the drivers to the security blokes who would bring us coffees because we were like freezing cold standing on the side of the road. And I met everyone.
That's
everyone
unreal.
Everyone was lovely. Met Donald Glover. Very COVID, so they were like, you can't go near him. But Donald was like, thanks for supporting the show, guys. Appreciate it lots. Great show, by the way. Incredible show. Incredible show. Yeah. Lakeith Stanfield, Brian Tyree Henry, who now is like huge. Well, Lakeith just won an Oscar at the time as well. So this incredible story,
That's
out of nowhere. And that's why I talk about like. We made that happen by standing there for 7 hours.
That's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're starstruck.
Yeah, that was mad.
He loved Donald Glover.
Well, no, more for the fact that I didn't know that's how
I did that.
you started.
Yeah.
But that's
So I met a
dedication.
guy called Darren Babber, who I can't speak highly enough of, who's lovely, who's now producing and still the lady stuff mainly produces. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And Babber was the second AD on that show, and Babber was like, "Why are you still here?" After like 4 hours. And I was like, I want to work in TV and film, and like I just want to meet as many people as I can and get out there and whatnot. And he was like, okay, cool. There's my email. Shoot me an email, and we'll see what we can do. I went, great, cool. Thanks so much. I got in the car to go home. Dad came and picked us up from Epping, if I remember correctly. Such a meaningless thing, but I've just remembered it. I got in the car and emailed Baba while I'm sat in the car. And like a week goes, he emails back like, thank you very much. I'll let you know if anything comes up. I'm like, cool, great. Didn't really think anything of it. Like a week or two later, someone calls me. And I answer the phone. He's like, it's Baba. And I didn't know it was Baba at the time. And I'm like, who?
Who's Baba?
Yeah. And he was like, look, I've got a show we're shooting in London. Do you want to come do a crowd day with us? And we'll see how you get on. I was like, absolutely. Me in my head, not really thinking about like payment or anything else. Obviously, I got paid.
Yeah.
Incredible. Great. I was going
to say.
gone from being broken to COVID to being like, I get how much money? Like,
you're like, what?
Yeah.
What's this about?
And he was like, yeah, like we'll put you at like, don't let you come down. I shot at Tower Bridge Hilton.
Oh,
a TV show that's now called Liaison that came out for Apple. And I was a crowd PA on my first day. And then I just never looked back. We just snowballed. It would then be like, I get called and Babel would be like, cool, come do 3 days of us. I go and do 3 days. And then after about a month of me being on there, he was like, he was like, do you want to just see the run out while we're in the UK? They did like a month in France afterwards, which I didn't do, but he was like, do you want to just do the last 3 months while you're in the UK? And I was like, yeah. And that was it. Like that, I was just in, and then it just snowballed, and then I met you jobs later and everything. Like that was it. That's how I got into it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is crazy. And I remember being in crowd waiting room. Do you know how well? Have you done like essay work, like on set stuff?
You've only ever heard about it through me, really.
So you know, like when they're sat out in like a classroom desks, and you're sat there for the entire day. I'm not
acting.
So like if you're sat there, like you have a room full of essays and everyone's mingling, and my God, some of them are horrendously annoying. And also some of them, I love the joke that my favourite line in essays ever said to me is, "I'm not like the others, I'm a real actor." And I went,
it's such a thing.
"You what?" Like, and I then from then on I was like, "Put that man at the back of the room. He doesn't go anywhere near camera the rest of the day. Like, it's not like no." Good. I'm not like these, I'm a real actor. Today you like these, I'm afraid to tell you. Today you are most definitely like these guys. Like, that's not happening.
It's such a horrible thing to say, especially around everybody else as well.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's awful to do that.
Why do you think you're...
Imagine me going, I'm not like the others, I should be a director. Like, you'd be like, mate, you're not getting hired back, let alone anything else.
Yeah, I think you find as well, like, a lot of people on... like these, it's absolutely nothing wrong. Like if you, because obviously I act. So I want to be an actor. Yeah. I am an actor.
Yeah.
So I need to say that sometimes.
I know. Yeah.
It's like no,
I know. You do that. Yeah.
What do you call yourself?
You can hear that voice still, can't you?
No, I can't. Yeah, there was someone that told me once. It was an American guy, actor. He's just like, no. You are
an actor. You are an actor.
Really? Yeah. That was always like, no, you are an actor. Yeah. But whenever I've done like crowd work, essay work, I've never been like, I'm above this. You know, you guys aren't real. Like I'm never.
It's always an older person though. It's always someone who's usually had some experience of being the front guy. And then can't quite adjust to the fact you're not that anymore, or you just aren't that right now, and that's all right. But I remember being in the waiting room, and I knew nothing. I'd like blagged it. Baba had been like, "Have you done crowd days before?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And by the way, this is just a hint to the world: just fake it till you make it. You'll be fine. Like, just learn on the fly. Like, it doesn't mean the end of the world if you don't know everything. It's fine. I've made a career of not knowing things and acting like I do, and I've done all right off it, right? Like, all you actors do the same thing. Like, how often do you get a character brief through where you're like, oh, I know how to play this character on the spot because I am like this man. You don't. That's not the job. The job is just learn it on the fly. Just go, I can play that. Have you ever had anyone be like, can you do that accent? You've been like, yeah, I can, Because I know way too many people who have been like, yeah, I can do that, and then on the day been like, I've got to put together a Geordie accent, like now, like this is awful.
I had to play a very specific type of German once, and they were just like, well, to be fair, I was honest because I said
it's not like Nazi scientist kind of German, was it?
No, it was.
Okay, it was. Oh, good. Have I nailed the character then on the T there as well?
Not scientist.
Not quite scientist, but it was. You were close.
The youth side of things.
Okay,
yeah, but I had to be this
side of things. Yeah, the youth team. Yeah. The youth team. Yeah, the under 21s. Yeah.
But yeah, I had to do this like singing. In German, which was a great job. I loved everyone on that job as well, especially like the dialect coach and stuff. But yeah, they were like, basically, have you like spoke German before or something like that? And I was like, no, but I can.
Yeah.
I will.
That's all you do. That's what I did. Was just go like, yeah. Like, you do it. You do it. And if I look like an idiot, I can afterwards go, I haven't done that.
They kind of want you to say that as well.
But if I look great, I look phenomenal. So my point was on set that day when my third AD went, great, Gabe, can we do a lineup, please? And I had no idea what a lineup was. Not a clue. Right, It's when they just stand, you just line everyone up and make up a costume, literally
checks
go.
And everything.
Make up a costume, literally go, you look good, cool, go sit down, you look good, cool. That's it. That's all you do. It's so simple. And I went, line up, no worries. And I walked into the main room, it's like
get the 4-3-3 out.
Trust. There's like 100 extras. And I'm looking at him like, I don't know how to do this. And I just went loudly, hoping that they got it. Guys, can I have a lineup, please? And they all got up and got in the line. And I went, you smashed that because no one thinks you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, how you said
I just walked in and went, I need a lineup. And everyone went, yeah, all right, sound cool. If I'd gone up to a makeup artist and gone, I don't know what the hell a lineup is, what do you want me to do? She'd have been like, how have you got this job?
Exactly
so
that.
Like, I just didn't, and then it snowballed. And then
so good.
Yeah, I was
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, man.
That is so
fake
good.
it till you make it. That's the trend of my life. The more I look at it,
Just a little segment to camera here. I don't lie on my CV, just to confirm that. Fake it till you make it to a certain extent. No lies here.
You'll get found out. You will get found out.
Yeah, exactly.
You will get found out.
Literally, check the IMDb.
So
check the IMDb's facts.
Moving on from that,
just look at Cam's IMDb. That'd be easier because
you've actually got a really good repertoire of stuff.
Thank you.
You actually do have a very good repertoire of stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to build it as much as possible, but yeah, it's kind of like just come out of nowhere, just like stumbling into things.
Yeah, mine is so funny all over the place. It's unbelievable. It's just a mess of projects.
Yeah, that's brilliant though. It's a good mess.
It's very funny.
It looks good.
It looks great. It looks great.
Yeah,
on to the next segment.
The next segment because we're running for about 50 minutes and I've really enjoyed our chat, Gabe. Honestly, it's good. I'm so happy. I know I said it already, but I'm so grateful you made a trip down. It's amazing. So as we always do, I'm not gonna explain it. You guys really know we have a playlist for the Conn'Cast where people request songs to put onto the playlist that have helped them through maybe a tricky time in their life with their mental health. So, Gabe, you've got 2.
I'm going to do 2.
2? That's all good. Yeah. So you can explain them if you want as well.
The first one I'm going to give you is one that I don't usually like. Oh, not usually. Not don't like. I don't really care for country that much at all. It's fine. It's cool. There's good songs. There's bad songs. There's a lot of the same song. But while I was in Utah, Ian, who's Will's videographer, who I took with me, played me 98 Braves by Morgan Wallen, and it's a really good tune. It's a really good song.
Do you know it, Cam?
I don't know.
The whole point. So the song's based on 98 Braves are a baseball team who should have won it all, didn't, and the whole thing is him comparing his relationship with his ex to that. Like should have gone the whole way. Yeah, probably should have been the whole deal. wasn't. And at the time in my life, that was very prevalent. So I was like, this fits nicely. That was a song that I massively listened to a lot at that point as well. And that idea of like, if you thought it was perfect at the time, it probably wasn't if it didn't work out. Right? The other one, which is mainly for my boys and because they deserve it, Painted Red by The Stretch. Painted Red, bracket, Wash Me Away is... Again, one that like at the time, it's a banger, man.
It's a banger.
It's so good. And live, it's so good. And to give the boys their credit, that when they dropped it, it was immense. I remember, I'll show you guys afterwards. I remember when they dropped the song that we'd for like months up to the show been like, that's the one. Like, that's such a good track. Like, that one has to be done next. And they ummed and ahed about recording a different track at the time. And I was like, no. That one's done first.
One.
Yeah. And thank God. It's great tune.
Oh, wicked, yeah. Add them both
to
to the podcast. If you can just send me the links.
I will send you them both the links. You'll have them both.
Wicked, and I'll add it to the playlist, and hopefully you guys enjoy listening to it. So no, that's the thanks for that.
Do you get many like is that playlist just a mess of genres?
Oh, it's a complete mess.
Yeah.
This is really good to actually talk about because like I love Mac Miller, and like the first couple of songs is Mac. And then you've got Ren, which I don't know if you know Ren. Yeah. And then we've got like some... Oh, it's a complete mess. We've got Coldplay, and then we've got like some really like heavy metal. So it's what I love. I put it on shuffle the other day, and I was like, oh my God. Like, what was I going to say next, really?
I was just going to say, like, so just any final thoughts, like advice on everything that you've mentioned?
I was also going to rephrase as well, as well. Or is there also something that you'd probably give advice to yourself 6 months ago?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. I'm gonna drop you there.
Okay, I can do both. Advice to people in general, like we said earlier, talk, but also going outside of men and just people in general. Like it's two things. One, 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards is still 1 step forward. So doing something to be better, and then feeling like you're stuck in a rut or stuck where you have been. If brilliant. You've still done something different, and even if it's a slight mindset change, that's still a step forward.
It's so good,
right? And that's a big part of it, especially in everyday life. But you can make it in sport, you can make it whatever you want to make it. But like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that's still a step forward. Gabe. Just make it 2 steps, and then it's not 1 step, and that's the difference, right? So second thing is it's a Chris Paul quote, who's an NBA basketball player, and it's just keep stacking days.
Mm-hmm. Okay, stacking.
That I try and call it now. That's the thing I try and go by is like, for example, I know that what I get Monday to Friday getting up and going to work is not by any means interesting. It's not by any means fun. It's not fun. But I'm in my head I said like you're just stacking days because I can turn around in 6 months' time and go, cool, I did that for 6 months, and it can be monetarily, it can be whatever. Same thing with gym progress. Like just keep stacking days. Just keep stacking days. So that thing of like, oh, I feel rubbish today. Okay, cool. Feel that, deal with that. Do try and get things to get you out your rut, but keep stacking days in the fact that know that if you have enough horrendous days, you'll start having good ones.
Yeah, it's just the way it works.
That's it. That is the way it works because there's only so much, and it does require you doing certain actions to try and get yourself out of it. But
it's not luck.
That's it. Just keep stacking days. Just keep stacking days, and don't worry about what's coming and everything else. Just keep day by day doing what you're doing. Routine helps with that as well. Advice to myself 6 months ago. A lot. Delete her number. No, go. Don't call that one back. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh no.
So many things.
Delete that message. No, no, I joke. Yeah. Genuinely, advice to myself 6 months ago is just head up, feel it, but don't let it stop you doing what you're doing.
Great,
and head up is my big thing, and
head up, keep your head up.
Shoulders, head up. I feel like it's a better version of that man up thing of like it's not don't feel it, just don't let it stop you while you're doing it.
Exactly.
Like, there is no the minute I have a real complex of like it's me against everyone, which is so funny because it's so there's no one there being like you're awful. Nothing doesn't happen. There's no crowd booing me, but I have a real complex of it, and that's the thing. Is the minute I stop, you've won.
Yes, exactly.
So I can't stop in any circumstance.
Exactly.
Which is why I'll be back in film because to me I go like I need to come back and prove to you that I can still do this.
You can still do it. I can't stop. I'm not going to be I'm not going to look a failure.
Imagine this is how I announce that. Like I just send this to my job as my like notice.
This little segment.
Yeah. Let me do it to camera. No, I'm joking. I'm not doing that. I'm saying I love it. I'm not leaving. I'm
no.
For the time being, we're still there.
Yeah.
There you go. There's my 2 bits.
That is so good, man. Honestly, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me, boys.
You've
Thank you
been
very much.
great.
Thank you.
So I know I say don't keep it professional too much, but I am gonna do a little outro. So so this has been your host Finn. I'm joined obviously, as you know, with co-host Cam, and again Gabe. Honestly, you've been incredible.
Thank you,
I'm
man.
so happy you've been on.
It's been lovely.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next week at 7 p.m.
They will.
They will.
I don't come with the furniture. They'll see you again next time. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah. See you next time, guys. See ya.